This week's episode was full of just so much conflict and sibling angst and just all of the things that you could think of into a rom-com episode for the first quarter. It has it. And we pretty much take off beat for beat from last week's episode. And honestly, I thought this one was probably the best one so far. We start off in the classroom and we get we get our usual suspects, Kai and Wataru, and they're kind of like sitting there talking, and of course Wataru is like kind of freaking out a little bit because now it's the summer uniforms. Of course there's no jackets or anything, and he he instantly tells Kai that if he could just not be such a slut in front of me, my heart can't take it. Like, he goes on about how he's normally got like a 95 defense, but now it's down to 20. So it's pretty great. But he's just kind of taking it all in, and Kai's like, yeah, what about Aika's outfit? And he's just freaking obviously head over heels for her, so of course it's a frolic of fairies. But he gets called a pervert as per always, and so Kay is trying to like talk to him about the weekend, because over the weekend a lot of the people went to the house to go visit and just hang out and see Aika's little sister. And of course he didn't go, even though I kind of screwed the last review. I couldn't tell, some of these male protagonists / side characters look very much the same in the series. But she's looking through the photos and she realizes that Aika looks just really sad and kind of like distant and disoriented from the group. And we all know, as the audience, obviously she has a crush on Wataru, but doesn't want to per se say that she does. And it's gonna be a game of tag for a while here, and so so Kai's like, oh, haven't you talked to her for a while? And he's like, well, this distance thing, he's sitting in the far right corner of the classroom and she's in the back middle. Obviously he's not gonna be able to talk to her very well. So right after that, we skip to soccer club and we get to see, everything's going great. And he talks to one of his buddies that was there at the party that I mistaked last week for, and how happy they are and all that stuff. And so he texts Yuki because he's supposed to keep her updated on her older brother, which is the guy that went to the party. And it's so freaking funny, just the way that she keeps tabs on him. Like, it seems like that like sibling love type of thing, and like he doesn't like deny that she's like all over him. But it's pretty great and funny. We get a few embarrassing moments like that in this episode. So we get back to the classroom, and obviously Wataru is eating lunch alone, and Takuro sees that, and Takuro's like, why don't you come sit with us? And it's just him and 3 other chicks that they also play basketball, coincidentally. So he knows them a little bit, and first they seem kind of like the scanty girls of the classroom, to say the least. They ask, what they ask they ask Wataru right off the bat, like, I haven't seen any like marriage squabbles lately. Did you and Aika like screw? You guys have been together since middle school. And he's like, no, we never did that. And then she asks about freaking Rina from a few episodes ago, or 2 episodes ago, and he's like, no, we didn't do that. She's still with the boyfriend she's had since middle school. And out of nowhere, right, Aika comes and just starts pulling on him, right? Just dragging him out of the classroom, drags him into the music room, and for no reason, doesn't really give a reason, but she's got her hands on her hips and her face is serious. So something's gonna go down. But he tells her, calm down, everything's okay. And he asks her exactly why she pulled him out. And she pretty much tells him that he's talking to those girls, and he's like, well, are you jealous? And she's like, no, dude, that ain't me. Just in straight up denial of everything that the clearly emotions are showing. But he doesn't know it because she won't admit it. So he's just like lost for words. And, he's sitting there again in class talking to Kai. And he just doesn't understand. And she's just kind of there being an outsider. And she doesn't exactly understand either. But he wants to hug her. It's just it's a fair thing. And right after that, we get to see the student council president, and he asks Wataru to step out for a minute, and of course Wataru has nothing going on, so he steps out, and they talk. And he's like, I hear you had a crush on this girl for years, and then it kind of ended, and you're kind of bland, and how would you describe yourself? And he kind of tells him that he's just kind of an ordinary introvert, nothing really crazy. And so he asks if his sister knows, and apparently his sister's been just like really bothered by the fact that this whole change has been happening without him talking to her about it, even though she kind of seems like that tough, kind of jerky, attitudey sister that does really care about her brother but doesn't want to let it show. It just seems to be kind of a theme of every character in the series, is they have these emotions but they don't try not to let it show. And so for the first time ever, they see his sister pretty much just whine about anything, period. And, he's like, you're going to fix this. You need to at least talk to your sister. So he's leading him to his sister, even though this could have been something settled at home. He wanted to take care of right now. And I guess that's fair. They got student council stuff to do. And especially the fact that she's been out of it for a couple days now and he hasn't talked to her since the weekend. Kind of get the ball rolling. And we come to find out that, obviously the student council president's a really good looking guy. All these girls are kind of saying hi to him. And he pretty much goes off with, yeah, I do. And it was a problem for a long time, but your sister actually saved me from this problem. So I don't know, but I think this is kind of something foreshadowing the next scene here. But we'll get into that in a minute. While they're walking away to go meet her, obviously we've got two little spies watching him, and that's gonna be Kei and Aika, just watching him for no reason. And he goes up to his sister, and she's just kind of staring at the roof bars, and we get to this like little scene here where he's like, I heard you're depressed about something, because originally what he told her is that the student council, what was it, the attitude department, Rin, the blue-haired one from a couple episodes, was gonna come talk to her, but it's actually him. And he asks her pretty much just to like say some good things about him, and she says just a bunch of nice things about him and ordinary things, and like he's like, that's not you, you're not that person, you need to be yourself and stop worrying about me. And she comes along the lines of, well, I was worried about the relationship thing, and she talks about something like this that happened before and that it might end up the same way. And I feel like that's the student council president maybe, but I don't know for sure. It just feels like that's the type of vibe I'm getting from it, and she just seems like she doesn't want the same thing to happen to him, because obviously something pretty bad happened. And she even tells him, giving up on the girl that you've loved for years, it's a shame, which it really is, but he's only doing the right thing that she kind of blatantly said she wanted. So at the same time, you can't really blame Wataru. And after that, he even says along the lines of, he's never had a nice sister over all these years. And he also calls her not pretty, but it is what it is. And so she kind of seems like things are kind of going back to normal, and he wants her to be like that, not being nice. And right before that even happens, she also threatens, if you change your mind now, this is it, I ain't gonna be that nice sister no more. But right after that, freaking, as always, Aika and Kai rush in. Kai's trying to stop her, but she's telling her, she's telling Wataru, how dare you talk to your sister like that, and to apologize. And like, of course, he's wondering, like, why did you go out of your way to come to the rooftop? Like, why are you following me now? And she comes to think about it, and she doesn't even realize why, but she knows why, obviously. And we know that's because she likes him. But so they storm off and leave the roof, and he makes this nice quote. I've been left behind again, eh? I love it so much. But everything kind of slowly transitions back to normal. We go back to the house, and Wataru comes home, and his mom's cleaned the dishes. We haven't seen her yet, so there's mom. And he runs to his sister because right before that we did see him stop at the convenience store and get her some pork buns, and she's doing exactly what he described. She's sitting on the couch like she owns the place, and he just wants to make it up to her. So he got her pork buns because, she did try to care, and that's what really matters in the end. But she doesn't want them right now, but they're not good when they're cold, so he gives them to her, and she just starts munching them down because he threatens to eat them himself if she doesn't eat them. And while she's doing that, he gets a bunch of pictures of her to use as blackmail if she ever freaking goes off the deep end. And it's just absolutely hilarious. These photos are just terrible and miserable, but he's got them all just in case. And his sister gets up and grabs the bat and just starts beating him. It is absolutely hilarious. It's one of those shows where it's like it's nothing like super serious or like mind thinking, but it keeps your attention, and it makes you laugh because it almost feels relatable. And like, I love the characters, I love the art style's pretty decent, and the development of what's going on around him and the people that it's been affecting and everything. It's really neat to see, and I definitely enjoy that as a factor to it. But with that all being said, if you guys enjoyed this video or made it this far, please leave a like. It means a lot to me. And if you're feeling generous, hit that subscribe button. It helps out a lot. But other than that, that has been me, and it's been Squids. And that's going to be the end of this video for the day. And we'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.